Hey, and welcome to the show. I'm the Crypto Kid, and in these videos we take a look at Bitcoin and everything that's going on in the world of cryptocurrency. So if you're new to the show, we make daily videos and keep it relevant to what's going on in the news. So let's jump right in this morning and take a look at Bitcoin Cash. Now, as you can see, we are sitting currently around $1,600 USD, and overnight we did see a high of around $1,750. Now, a little bit of volatility here, but otherwise we are sitting pretty consistent around that $1,600 mark, and surely we will be seeing some gains in the near future. Now, on the other side of the coin here, we've got BTC, and BTC has been looking to break through that $9,600 mark, and they haven't done so yet, but as we get closer to that 10K, it's possible that a lot of investors are going to be pushing to reach that epic milestone of 10,000 USD. Either way, it's gonna have to wait to be seen because it is, again, unprecedented. So jump on over here to cryptocurrency market cap. You'll see that there is a lot of green across the board. Bitcoin BTC sitting around 4.3%. Similar gains with Bitcoin Cash here. Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Gold, Litecoin, everything is in the green and climbing, aside from a few here in the lower numbers. But otherwise, it is looking pretty good across the board here. Now, it is interesting to see Bitcoin Gold taking that 5th place, and we've got BTC in the top as usual, but Bitcoin Cash is not too far behind. Now, let's jump over to Bitcoin.com and see what's going on in the news. This just came out. Bittrex issues a warning about cryptocurrency pump and dumps. Now, they go in to discuss how that they are going to be regulating, or at least keeping an eye on this, and they're going to be blocking users, making sure that this type of activity is not going on. Bittrex actively discourages any type of market manipulation, including pump groups. Consistent with our terms of service, we will suspend and close accounts engaging in this type of activity and notify the appropriate authorities. So this is good to see. I mean, it depends how they're going to approach this and how successful they will be with dumping, because, again, they are just one exchange, but it is good to see that this type of activity is going to be looked at a little bit closer. Now, otherwise, I thought this was a pretty cool article. Paxville is a company that works as a P2P system. Now, they're helping to fund 100 schools in Africa under the hashtag Built with Bitcoin. Now, yes, they're using Bitcoin to build schools, and they're getting the community involved with Bitcoin. Now, I'm assuming this this project probably took off a little bit before the fees went astronomical, so I took it upon myself to reach out to Paxville and did invite them to get on board with BCH Bitcoin Cash, as the fees are a lot cheaper. And hey, I said, hey, with the same amount of funding, you might be able to build closer to 500 schools with the Bitcoin Cash. So we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, it's a pretty wicked project, and props for them, because that is what, in my opinion, this blockchain technology has the most appropriateness for, is helping the world and getting everybody on board to have access to money. Now, if you were watching YouTube this morning, what a wild morning. There was a discussion here with Roger Ver, or should I say an attack on Roger Ver. Now, I had a comment here. This character says, at one point in the interview, I don't think Bitcoin was ever peer-to-peer. Now, at that point, if it were me, I would have just shut my laptop and gone on with my day. But Roger Ver took it upon himself to really continue this interview after being blatantly attacked on live stream. So, you know, I respect Roger Ver for taking the time out of his day. He does not need to be doing this. You know, he's a humanitarian and a volunteer here, and, you know, this is great that he has the ability to take it upon himself to spread the word. I mean, you know, he's been involved in countless projects, being the CEO of Bitcoincom, working with impressive companies, investing in the Bitcoin Foundation, CoinLab, Blockchain.com, Ripple, Kraken, so many more. And again, he's just worked with incredible companies. And so for him to go out of his way and do this is just insane, and I really respect the man. This is kind of his motto here, and why he works as a voluntarist. Currently, I am working full-time to make the world a better, less violent place by promoting the use of Bitcoin. Today, Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin totally strips away the state control over money. It takes away the vast majority of its power to tax, regulate, or control the economy in any way. If you care about liberty, the non-aggression principle, or economic freedom in general, you should do everything you can to use Bitcoin as often as possible in your daily life. Now, that in a nutshell is exactly why I got into Bitcoin, and exactly why I continued to move over and transition into Bitcoin Cash, because as we know, Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin, meaning that that is what was in the white paper, and the BTC chain has altered that, and it is not the same intention as was created by Satoshi Nakamoto. And that, in my opinion, is why you see Roger Ver being attacked by people like Richard Hart and other people that I'm not too sure what their intentions are with BTC, but clearly it is preventing these incredible projects, such as we talked about earlier here, from really establishing and making ground. Because, you know, if this is great that Paxville is working to fund the schools, but if they're really wanting to get the communities on board to use BTC, in my opinion, that's impossible. Some of these individuals live on less than $2 a day. How can they make transactions when the minimum fee is more than what they would make in weeks? So to me, if projects like this were to use Bitcoin Cash, that is really a positive direction. So again, Roger Ver, well-respected individual here. I'll leave a link here to the website. He also puts a lot of his slides for all of his presentations up. So this is a really helpful asset here if you're interested in learning more about Bitcoin Cash or anything else in the industry. So I also came across this article on Techcrunch.com. Now, this is an old article, not old, but April 20th, 2017. I think Bitcoin was around $1,000 at that point, USD. Don't quote me on that. But as you can see here, the article is called "What's Keeping Cryptocurrencies from Mass Adoption?" And it's a really cool article. There's some really wild points here. The author here, contributor Neil Heron, makes some really wicked points. And one thing I wanted to mention, it right at the bottom of the article. This is a really cool quote, or I guess it's a quote here, highlight it, and I'm just going to read it along here. Start at the top here. For a currency to be stable, it needs to be used by the 99%, not just a handful of investors. A currency needs to grow with the people, not past them. Look at the state of Bitcoin and its inflated prices. Now again, this was back in April of this year. The everyday person can no longer either mine the coin or expect to use the coin in everyday transactions without high fees or risk. It has been given up to the speculators. I agree with that, and I would love to talk to him now. And then continuing, with a truly stable currency, on the other hand, you can have currency conversion, remittance, ATM withdrawals, and other financial services with lower fees than fiat systems. In other words, it can be used as intended, as money. This is what will ultimately attract a mainstream audience and will actually incentivize them to make the switch to cryptocurrency. Now, how well put was that? I could not agree more with that, and clearly that is my stance when we talk about Bitcoin Cash, because in the long run, as we look at how this is going to be adopted and used in the real world, Bitcoin Cash fits the bill of the intentions of the chain, the original Bitcoin chain. Not only that, even all that aside, it's just practical. It can actually be used not just by the Western world, but those all around the world for everyday use. And that is truly, in my opinion, how mainstream is going to initially adopt this cryptocurrency scene. So moving on, just thought I'd mention that because clearly Roger Ver does not have to be doing this, but he believes in Bitcoin Cash, as do I, and I'm sure many of you watching this. So cheers, Roger, and nice work, and we will continue to support you, and we're behind you 100%. So moving on here, I just wanted to touch base on the NAGA token sale. I did promote this earlier, a few weeks back now, and they are about 6 hours away from ending their 30% bonus, and they're almost at about 80% here, so that's really impressive through a pre-sale. So if you're interested in checking this out, I do have a video as well as a referral link, so please check that out if it interests you. Otherwise, we'll continue to monitor the blockchain Bitcoin Cash. And finally, I did want to thank everyone for joining in on the first live stream we did yesterday. I think I'm going to be continuing this. Probably I'll maybe do a daily or every other day next week, and I'll get back into it. Basically, it will be monitoring just the current price of Bitcoin Cash, and any news stories that come up, I'll flash that. But the cool thing that I think worked yesterday, and please let me know in the comments, but the community there, we had a live chat group, and it was a really healthy conversation that was going on there, and again, really cool people and a great community to be a part of. So I will continue to do these this video every day, and I will continue to make sure that I do these live streams as well. Probably next week I'll get them going daily, if not every other day. So I will continue with that. Now, otherwise, I will be creating more documentaries specifically towards Bitcoin Cash, Roger Ver, and others trying to promote this chain. So I hope today's video was enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.